All right, here on Fox 13 News, live at noon, we've got a special in-depth report for you. The race in Utah for a U.S. Senate seat starting to heat up after incumbent Senator Mike Lee beat challengers Ali Isom and Becky Edwards to secure his nomination. He will now face up against Evan McMullin come November. We have the pleasure of speaking with Senator Mike Lee right now after speaking to McMullin yesterday. Senator Lee, thanks so much for joining us today on Fox 13 News. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. It's good to be with you.
Thank you so much. All right, so to start out, what do you think are the major differences right now between you and Evan McMullin, the challenger?
Well, I'm a conservative Republican. He's someone who's running as an independent, but has been endorsed by the Democratic Party. He is, for all practical purposes, the Democratic candidate. He's someone who a few years ago said that he fully supported protecting unborn human life, and today he supports the Democratic position, which is doubling down on Roe versus Wade. And this is a candidate who has praised everything President Biden has done. He voted for President Biden and encouraged others to do the same. The reason that matters here is that it's President Biden's policies that have led to Utahns paying more for everything they bought. $800 a month, every month. That's what Utah families are having to shell out just for their average basic household monthly expenses relative to what they were paying the day Joe Biden became president of the United States. So those are pretty big differences. He's there to support the Biden administration's agenda, and I'm there supporting an agenda that's all about the American people. It's about Utah. It's about making life more affordable, and that the federal government won't be causing that lack of affordability.
Senator Lee, while on our show here yesterday, Evan McMullin made some comments saying that he believed you brought in, quote, politics of division and extremism. So what would you say to that?
Yeah, what's extreme is a federal government that racks up a $31 trillion debt after requiring Utah families to work months out of every year just to pay their federal taxes. What's extreme is a president who Evan McMullin voted for and supported, who was responsible for a botched withdrawal from Afghanistan, one that left America less safe than it would be otherwise and than it was prior to that. Now, what's extreme is taking a position, as the Democratic Party does today, that Roe versus Wade wasn't even enough and we should enact legislation that they're pushing. They're suggesting we push legislation extending a complete right to abortion with no opportunity to protect unborn human life up until the moment of live birth. Those are all extreme positions, and extreme positions championed by Evan McMullin's new party.
So, Senator Lee, you do mention Roe v. Wade and abortion, of a major issue for a lot of voters. How do you think that will impact things with what's happened with the overturning of Roe v. Wade and then what's then happened here in Utah?
Well, I think Utah voters understand that Utah government works well for Utahns. And I think Utah voters understand that abortion is something that's a very significant question of public policy. It's important to protect unborn human life, and it was wrong to have Supreme Court justices take the authority away from the people and assign it only to the federal judicial branch. In most instances, this isn't a federal policy, and it's certainly not a policy issue to be decided by judges, but rather by the people's elected lawmakers. So I think this issue is going to continue to play well with Utahns, meaning it's going to play well with regard to pro-life candidates because Utahns, by and large, are pro-life. Evan McMullin has been adopted into the party that is running in the exact opposite direction.
The January 6th public hearings going on right now, do you think those will impact the election in November?
No, I don't. But I do think the January 6th hearings are yet another indication that Democrats are scrambling. They're scraping. They're wanting to talk about things that happened a couple years ago rather than what's happening right now. They're doing anything and everything they can to distract from the disastrous policies of Joe Biden that have made it more expensive to buy everything from gas to groceries, from housing, and to health care. And it's really harming good people. It's also making it very difficult. The incompetence of the Biden administration has made it very difficult for people even to buy baby formula. Fortunately, the Senate passed unanimously My Formula Act just this last week. Once the House passes it, it should provide some relief to Utah parents. But it's unfortunate that we had to get nearly two months into this mess, a mess that President Biden himself created before coming up with a workable solution.
And before we let you go, I wanted to give you an opportunity to share your thoughts about Ketanji Brown Jackson joining the Supreme Court today, an historic event that happened today.
Yeah, it certainly is. There are a number of things about this that are historic and some that are unusual. It's unusual for a Supreme Court justice to be confirmed prior to the retirement or death of his or her successor, but that, of course, happened here. And so I wish Ketanji Brown Jackson and her family well.
All right. And as we wrap things up, is there any message you have for Utah right now and what you're working on there for us?
Yeah, we're working hard to make sure that this inflation is brought under control. I've got an aggressive plan to deal with it, including a bill called the Price Act that would require a 3/5 supermajority in both houses to pass any spending legislation out of Congress while inflation remains above 3%. It's well above that today. We need to pass this. We need to pass another bill that I've introduced called the Ship It Act. It would reduce some of the regulatory strains that are leading to higher prices and supply chain interruptions. We're pushing for all these things and more to make sure that Utahns benefit from the government that they support.
All right, Senator Mike Lee running for re-election, and voters will have their choice come November. We appreciate your time here with us today and for serving the people of Utah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.